Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the final round of the MAI Bangkok Business Challenge at SASIN 2016, and we are with the final venture. Please give a warm welcome to Animosa, University of Oregon Lundquist College of Business from the United States of America. So today we've had 6 ventures who came here to present. The result of the final of the winner will be announced at 3:30, and it will also be televised here on Money Channel. So let me remind the team, you have 30 minutes altogether. After 5 minutes, the judges will allowed to ask questions, and then we have 2 time warnings at the end, so 3 minutes and 1 minute before the end. Please keep an eye on these ladies in the front. Okay, you ready?
I believe we
Believe
we are. Is this
okay,
yep.
all right. So we'll start the clock as soon as you start.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, all right, good luck.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kate Blazer, and I'm the founder of Animosa, a new brand of outdoor and travel gear for women. The name Animosa translates from Latin to strong, fearless woman. I've spent most of my life in the outdoors, and I've traveled to more than 30 countries. And during those adventures, hundreds, maybe thousands of times, I've thought to myself, there's no waste bin. What do I do with my bloody tampon? I could flush it, bury it, or toss it on the ground. Many women do. But I want to dispose of feminine products responsibly and sustainably. So today we're going to talk about periods, because half of the world's population menstruates. Women who travel, go outdoors, and like to explore know that handling feminine hygiene can be messy, frustrating, intimidating, and even embarrassing. That is why we have developed the patent-pending Go With Your Flow Kit, an all-in-one solution for handling feminine hygiene in the outdoors or anywhere without access to a waste receptacle. This made-for-purpose kit allows women to pack their preferred feminine supplies, stay clean, and dispose of used products within the kit itself. The kit includes a durable outer case, biodegradable wipes, and a proprietary, integrated, eco-friendly disposal system. How does it work? Simply place used feminine products and wipes into the integrated disposal system. No one can see the contents or smell them, and it won't leak. When you have access to a waste bin, simply empty out the contents, and the kit is immediately ready to use again. No cleanup required. This is what makes the kit clean, easy, discreet, and green, and this is how you go with your flow.
So initially, we are targeting the 7.8 million women in the US between the ages of 18 and 34 who spend more than $200 a year on gear, because they are considered the core consumers within our domestic market. Now, that is the strongest first use case and a very focused initial point of entry. But we know that our product has so much more potential for so many women, because this is a problem that they all face. For instance, women in the military, women who work in the field, anyone from farmers to park rangers. Outdoor events, think marathons and music festivals. Athletes, and finally, everyday users, because ladies, you never know when there's not gonna be a trash can. Now, based on what we know about our consumers, we've developed a 3-prong acquisition strategy. This leverages high-impact, low-cost social media marketing, as well as the fact that women are already online and in stores searching for some sort of solution to this problem. Now, that's a very brief overview of how we're spending our marketing budget. So here's how we're gonna make money. All right, we're gonna sell the kits and the refills to those kits in the razor blade model. We will develop 3 sales channels to reach our consumers using both D2C and B2B. Here's how.
Now we've already started. We have 5 handmade prototypes. We're using those to test our design and utility. We're also working with our industry advisors to develop 50 professionally prototyped kits for testing moving into a Kickstarter campaign. Once the Kickstarter campaign has been completed, we will launch a web store on animosa.co, which is live, by the way. This is our direct-to-consumer approach. Once we have hit a traction point of 3,000 kits sold that does not include refills, we will pursue our wholesale through retailer model, starting with small retailers and sales reps regionally in the Pacific Northwest USA. We will then move into large retailers who will take us across the United States of America and eventually international. Now, we know we need money to do that. Kate has already contributed $10,000 of her own money. This is being used for prototyping and IP protection. We're going to collect $50,000 in verbal commitments from friends and family next quarter. This will help manufacture inventory for our Kickstarter campaign. Now, towards the end of the year, once we're ready to flip to this wholesale through retailer business-to-business model, we will be collecting an angel round of investment of $250,000. After that, we will use short-term debt financing as needed for large inventory purchases. Like I mentioned, we've already started. This is a real company, this is a real journey, and we intend to pursue this timeline.
So we are seeking $250,000 in angel investments. Based on our very recently updated financial projections, we anticipate a 36x cash-on-cash return in year 10 as we exit by acquisition. So I hope you will join Maggie, Allie, and myself on this adventure. And with that, I would love to answer your questions and tell you more about any part of our business.
Yeah, your, excuse me, the demographic of 18 to 34 in adventure travelers, does that have, I know the female adventure travelers are the fastest growing market in adventure travel. So
Yes,
you're on track there.
yes.
Tell me how many female soldiers are in the U.S. military?
There are 200,000 women on active duty, and of course, the United States just allowed women, last November,
Yep.
the women now will be going into active combat roles. The U.S. military currently does not have a solution for handling feminine hygiene. They're actively seeking something, and we've been in initial conversations with Army suppliers, and we'll definitely be pursuing that in the very near
Yeah,
future.
you answered my question. I'm impressed you know that figure, as you should. And it should be part of issued gear for female soldiers.
Yes.
So you're right, that's a good target market for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have contacts within the military?
We do. We actually are very fortunate that one of our fellow students was formerly an Army supply buyer, and so he has connected us with now the people who are at the top of the supply chain for the feminine products, because they do buy feminine products for female soldiers, and so this is a perfect addition to the basic feminine supplies they already purchase.
Yeah. How about North Face, companies like that?
Could you be more specific with your
Outdoor
do I have
gear
contacts
companies.
Yes, like
Yeah.
Columbia
Yeah.
and Patagonia.
Yeah,
Yes.
Columbia, North Face, or
With contacts with them, is that?
Yeah.
Yes. So we actually are very fortunate that the assistant dean of our business school was formerly the CEO of Patagonia, Kelty, Pearl Izumi, and quite a few other very large outdoor and athletic brands. And so he has been making those direct connections to those large brands and retailers.
yeah, that's invaluable. Good.
And would we say that that this product mainly will be used when women are away from access to a toilet? Would that be a way to look at it?
Yeah, toilet waste receptacle really is the
Right.
issue. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's the
either
primary.
toilet or waste
True.
receptacle.
Yes, both. Quite. Yeah.
So what I'm just trying to visualize is how, I mean, that could be a lot smaller than originally I thought. What is your target market as far as that's concerned in the U.S. again?
Right. So in the U.S., there are 59 million women who regularly purchase outdoor gear and go outdoors into places where they don't have access to bathroom facilities. And then, of course, within that, there are 19 million millennials who will be initially targeting. But we recognize that there is a strong use case as well for everyday consumers. A lot of women, we've talked to more than 400 women in our initial target market, and many of those women have said that they would like to carry this in their purse for everyday use because they often find themselves in restrooms where there's a toilet but no waste bin. And everybody knows that you shouldn't flush these products.
Right. And I feel a little bit less qualified, but I know someone on our judging panel that's much more qualified than I am. However, before I turn it over, what I just want to talk about is the financials.
Sure.
What do you think this business is worth?
Currently or at our projected?
In the next few years, or how much value are you going to get out of this business?
Absolutely. If Allie could bring up our projected valuation.
Do you have a prototype, a picture of a prototype, sizing, anything?
Yes, we do have our prototype with us. Yeah. Maggie will
Yes,
grab it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maggie will grab
Yes.
that right
Yeah.
now. Yes. Yes. So as you can see here, these are our projected valuations by year. And at the end, we're using a very standard industry multiplier at exit. But those, and we can also put up our...
Okay, so let's look at EBITDA.
Okay,
So
yes.
EBITDA could be, let's say, about 1 million to 2 million, something like that. Okay. And then what I would say is EBITDA multiples out there in the world these days are maybe 7 or 8 times. But you're a private company, that's a listed company, so maybe there would be a little bit of a discount. Let's say it's 5 or 6 times EBITDA. So my calculation of the value of your business is something like 3 to 5 million US. By
Currently.
multiplying, no,
Yeah.
no, at year 5.
At year 5, okay. At year
$3 to
five,
$5 million
okay.
US. I see your number at the bottom, and I just didn't really understand what you were meaning by that. But that's how much I see that the value of this business is based upon your numbers. So how much do you need? You need 250,000. And how much does that get me in your business?
7.5% equity.
And who's got all the other? Because I noticed that it's, I got the biggest amount of money I'm putting in.
Right. Yeah, so the rest is, of course, the friends and family are taking a very small piece, but the rest is founders, and 20% has been set aside as employee stock options.
What are your use of proceeds for $250,000?
I'm sorry, could you?
What are you using it for?
Oh, so it will be used primarily for inventory, just funding production, but also marketing. We recognize that marketing is going to be a huge priority for us, especially in the first year or two, as we work on educating consumers about this new product and appropriate disposal
And how long
behavior.
does it last you?
The kit itself?
The $250,000?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. So it will get us through the first quarter of the next year of 2017, which is when that's when we make the transition into a larger scale B2B sales model.
So you're saying that for us, by putting in $250,000, you'll be profitable, you won't have to raise any more money?
That is correct. Yes, we have very strong margins, and we'll become cash flow positive in the very first part of next year. However, we recognize that if something changes and we need to, there is a very common practice of using purchase orders to leverage short-term inventory debt financing. And that would be our preferred method of raising future capital so as to not dilute our current investors.
But you know that's a costly way to do it, too. It's more expensive that way.
Yes, it is. However, we believe, based on our overall projections, that will benefit our investors the most.
And you're also doing a Kickstarter campaign, which is very interesting, right? And
Yes.
if it's as attractive as it sounds, then it'll probably draw in a lot, right? So do you really need that 250,000? It seems like it'll be a massive hit, right?
Yes, we do.
Based on our cash flow projections, we will need the $250,000, yes. The Kickstarter campaign, of course, more than anything, that will be used to validate demand in early sales. We also hope that it will raise us a nice amount of money. About $50,000 is what we're targeting based on comparable companies, other startup brands that have done something kind of similar. So that will get us essentially through the summer, and then in the fall, we will look to raise the $250,000. I need to push that back a little bit, we can make it to the end of the year, but at that point, without the 250, we would run out of money.
So every product, everything there is biodegradable, right?
All of the disposable components are all natural, non-toxic, and biodegradable, yes.
Right. So who supply you the materials?
So we are currently negotiating those contracts with our suppliers. We've specifically identified Diamond Wipes, which is a manufacturer based in California, and they specialize in these biodegradable, non-toxic wipes. We've already talked to some of the other companies they supply wipes to also to understand exactly what that relationship looks like, and we've validated that they are a very reliable, consistent supplier. Some of the other components, we actually, on our team of advisors, have the executive of a company called LoopedWorks, which sources sustainable and upcycled materials. They have contracts with outdoor companies throughout the world, and they take all of the waste and excess materials, and they integrate them into new products. And so that, our advisor is helping us source all of the materials that are not disposable that will be part of the outer case.
Yeah, but if that's the case, what I'm thinking is anyone can do it because you don't own the IP in biodegradable things, right?
Right.
So anyone just buy the materials and do the thing the same as you do, or they may be specialized in the tampons, they may be specialized in the packaging, so they can do the same thing whether they want to put it in one go or they just separately sell it.
Right.
Is that correct?
So we have applied for a utility patent in the United States, and the basis of our claims is essentially the
When did
utility
you
of the
do that?
kit, the combination of these different items together, most specifically our disposal system. But we recognize absolutely that that utility patent protection is limited in the international arena. And so we are going to focus on speed to market as well as building a very strong brand. Outdoor retailers are desperate to connect with young female consumers. They are not connecting with that demographic at all. And so as a young female brand, truly authentically, we will represent immense value to those retailers.
When did you apply for the patent?
We just applied a few weeks ago, three weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes.
Hold up the prototype. I mean,
so
I
this
don't
is-
carry a purse usually.
This will fit.
Yes. So this is the mini, right? This is the mini, which is what women would use for day use and put into their purse.
And the other-
And the clutch is for longer overnight trips.
So you wouldn't really carry that in your purse?
That would go more in your suitcase or your
Got it.
backpack.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, some purses, though.
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
some.
yeah, I have a huge handbag, but.
So I'm still trying to work on the financials of this situation. And if I look at your business at year 5, and let's say you make $2 million in EBITDA, and let's say that we, put a valuation on that of, 5 or, 6, or let's say 6 or something like that. Basically, let's say that you're worth roughly $10 million at that point in time. But you said that my 250 is going to get me 7.5% of the company. Let's just say you're worth 10 million. That means that my stake is worth $750,000, right? So I
Yes.
put in $250,000, and 5 years later, my stake's worth $750,000 according to my calculation. It's not a great return, particularly considering the high risk of this. So can you help me understand this better?
Sure. Well, first of all, we anticipate exiting in year 10. And we also anticipate introducing and developing additional products based on the very specific needs of women who go outdoors and who travel. So although our financial projections are based exclusively on this first product, we do anticipate that there will be additional products.
So not only do
but-
I have to invest on the idea that this idea is good, that you guys can execute it, but also that you can come up with new ideas and you can execute those, and that's where I'm going to really make my money?
No, that's not necessarily where you're going to really make your money, but you could make a lot more money than we've already projected.
Good, because I would want a lot more than 750.
All right.
Another really important part of the valuation is our communication with our consumers. As Kate mentioned, the outdoor industry is becoming much older. They're having a really difficult time connecting with this demographic. And so our ability to communicate with them is going to be valuable as well.
Solve this whole problem if you could give me, for the 250,000 that I put in, if you could give me, let's say, 30% of the company, then that would solve the problem. But giving me 7.5% for that is a really hard to see me getting that, good return.
Yeah, I agree with those figures. What you really need here is you need a basket of money so you can get the product into the market quickly and get it saturated. Because once you start down this Kickstarter lane, not that you shouldn't, but then you've revealed your plans to a certain extent, you've revealed your product to a certain extent, and there are people out there with buckets of money that may say, this is a good idea, I'm going to get it to market quick. So what you really need is an angel investor to pump in $1 million or $2 million to get this product to the market quickly. Correct? Wouldn't that be more ideal?
That actually would be. And one of our other advisors is not only an angel investor, but she operates a number of different angel conferences and is connecting us with networks of angel investors. We actually already have quite a few angel investors who have very explicitly expressed interest. And so I absolutely agree that given that we need the speed to market, that might be something that we end up raising the amount that we look to
at
raise.
this, right now in your selling plan, it's not that convincing because it's more like online and stuff. You know, the
Yeah.
benefit you have in the U.S. market is you have a massive distribution network of old school Walmarts and other places, wherever it is, or, you know, North Face and whatever. You're not going to access that? Imagine the distribution we
Oh,
can
we
have.
absolutely will. Oh, no, yes. So the online sales is just initially in the first couple of months as we work on building consumer awareness and promoting this. That is just in the very beginning. But then towards the end of this year, we'll start working with sales representatives who distribute regionally to small outdoor retailers. We already have 4 regional sales reps who represent 120 small retailers throughout the United States. After we begin working with those distributors and reach have established those operations and processes, we will then go directly to retailers like REI, Cabela's, Bass Pro, Target, Walmart, and work directly. And so most of our sales actually, as you look at the projections beyond year 1, more and more go through those established retail channels.
Why
Yes.
haven't you gone to Outdoor World, Cabela's already?
So typically those stores want to see some sort of sales traction. And so we're counting on the fact that once we do something like our Kickstarter and go to them, like this is our brand, this is our product, we already know how attractive it's going to be based on talks we've had.
I agree with you. Usually they do want to see something, but
Yeah.
I think, not an expert in your field,
Right.
but I do think you have a unique product. I buy into the concept. I think you'll do well with this. So that's why I think you're going, my opinion, going about it in the wrong way. I think you need to go for the big play up front quickly.
I appreciate that. That's actually similar to other feedback that we've received from a number of different individuals. Right now, our strategy actually is, again, based on our relationship with our assistant dean, who has worked for decades in this industry. And his guidance has said you need to validate and prove some traction before these big retailers will consider you. However, we recognize that these big retailers, if we can get them to bite earlier, we will absolutely skip to them before we even go to sales reps, before anything else. So there are several outdoor retailer trade shows that we will be attending beginning this summer. We've actually already gotten free admission, and we'll be pitching at the Women's Pitch Fest at Outdoor Retailer in Salt Lake City in August. That will be an opportunity to speak directly to retailers like REI and Cabela's and introduce them to our product. And absolutely, at that time, they might bite, and that would be
Yeah, I'm on
thrilling.
board with that. That's gold for you, but you better be able to back it up when you get there, because you know what, or you can probably find out from your mentor, they can suffocate you with success at something like that.
You
Yes.
mentioned a lot about defensibility. The key to your defensibility is basically expanding really quickly. So, and you said about branding as well. So I highly doubt that $250,000 would actually be sufficient in terms of actually branding and getting it out there, getting traction, and able to actually attract these big retailers to be able to take your product. So what kind of marketing expense are you expecting to spend in the beginning of 3 months?
So in the first 3 months?
Yeah. In terms of branding, because you need both like online, offline. Because $250,000 in market like Southeast Asia, it barely lasts for the 3 to 6 months for
Right,
marketing.
Right, absolutely. So first of all, one of their primary strategies is going to be using multiplier marketing. We already have a list of 50 bloggers. Each of them has an average of 10,000 subscribers, so that's 500,000 impressions. They are going to write about and promote our product to their followers. So they have actually said that based on what we are doing, they are so passionate about empowering women to go
So
outdoors.
your business model has free marketing expense in it, is that what you're saying?
That is one component, yes. We will also absolutely be paying for social media
I
promotions.
mean, everybody thinks that their idea is so great that people are going to want to just talk about it on their blogs and all that. But in reality, I think you'll end up being a lot more in what she's saying is that you'll have to spend to get the word out.
Yeah.
Right.
And what happens if, let's say, for the next 6 months, you haven't got traction as you imagine or you plan forecasted, and then you need more money, and then you ran out of money in, let's say, 6 months, and usually takes another 6 months to fundraise. What's going to happen? What's your plan B or what's your backup? Does 250,000 actually have a buffer?
Yes, it does. So like I said, we could actually make it to the very end of the year before we brought in that money. However, we also have these initial angel investors who have already said explicitly that they want to invest. And so we believe that we'll at least be able to bring in those initial funds, which of course then will help attract additional investments. But as
What kind of orders are you expecting to get after you launch?
what kinds of like
Orders.
quantity?
Yeah.
You mean
Per day?
Sorry.
Per day?
Per day?
Yeah.
So within the first couple of months, it's an average of about 20 units per day, which I recognize is, to some might seem lower, to some might seem high. But based on our extensive consumer research and understanding of conversion rates and our marketing budget, which we actually just tripled our marketing budget based on feedback that we needed to do that we need to understand that we need to spend more to actually acquire these customers. So we've already tripled our marketing budget, and we plan to ride that, of course, through to the angel round.
How much how much are you spending on marketing until the end of the year?
In this first year, it'll be $45,000 on marketing.
$45,000 for 12 months.
No, that's starting in May.
Okay, so that's
So
more
you
than
talk a lot about like online. Can you talk a bit more about your offline marketing strategy or plan?
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to try to do two things at once, but so offline, we know that being out there, we have a plan to, what is it, you call it, like a trailer? Take out a trailer and just be present and be at events such as those races and those music festivals that we mentioned. We're also going to focus pretty heavily on designing a really good and informative and very just eye-catching retail display, something that's very compact, that's very easy to go to retailers and say, you know, we only need this much space, and it's got everything you need to understand who we are and how to use our product, you know, as well as the packaging. So we're really going to focus on education and awareness in the design of that, so that, you know, once you pick up this kit, you don't have any questions about, yeah, so what do I do with this? Like, how does this work? So because we know that a lot of women just have no idea, and we want to change that.
Can you talk about the operations? You know, how are you manufacturing? When you get up to 1,000 a day, 5,000 a day, something like that, how are you going to handle that?
Sure. Ellie, you grab the operations slide.
sure.
And you mentioned that maybe 20 a day, that you're going to, and this is along with the question you've just been asked. If you go to an event in Salt Lake City, like that trade show you're talking about, I happen to know factually from past experience with investments, you may have 10,000 orders a day, 20,000 orders a day, because those things really get a lot of attention. So now the answer to his question is even more important.
Exactly.
So yeah, operations, yeah.
Operationally, we're designing our products, sales and marketing, and sourcing materials in-house. In the U.S., we initially intend to domestically produce this product, assemble it in-house and
Impossible.
fulfill.
The
No,
cost,
we're going to-
the cost that you're going to have if you domestically produce it is very high. So tell me about that.
Yeah. So the advisor that we were speaking about earlier is the CEO of a Portland bag company. They make high-end bags. He has a lot of connections with domestic manufacturing. It is a higher cost in our millennial U.S. target market. This is an important component in that outdoor space with millennials.
Price is going to be, when the competitor comes in and they go to China, they make it at a fraction of your
Yes.
cost. You're going to tell the consumer, hey,
By
we
the way.
produce it in the U.S.
Would you
Yeah,
manufacture?
you make a really good point. And also, our product is going to be of immensely higher value in that case. Now, this initial domestic contract manufacturing is to get that speed to market, is to get that really fast turnaround of product iterations. If somebody really needed a different component of this, and it was
Right.
be
more
constantly
flexible, yeah.
talked about, we would be able to fix that immediately. Now, that is not to say that taking a product and taking our tech pack that's going to be comprehensive and ready to go for China isn't an option. It's just not our preferred option. And right now, with all of the women that we've spoken to, especially in the United States, it is important.
But
Now,
that's just like a survey. You survey people and they say it's important, but when they
Right.
say,
Right,
that's
yeah.
$10 and that's $2,
I'll
and
take
you're not
$2.
around, and they're going to get the $2 one.
yeah, and
We will absolutely be prepared to transition because we will have a tech pack that essentially all we have to do is hand off to a manufacturer and say go. And so although we will start in the US because it reduces our risk, it allows us to iterate quickly and get to market fast, we absolutely, especially if a competitor pops up, we'll look for the cheapest option.
Our product will be pretty.
Have you seen the U.S. movie Carol
I have
with
not-
Jennifer Lawrence? It's
Not
the
yet,
same.
no.
It's the same kind of road you're going down. When you say you'll be able to pivot and you'll own the IP, go see the movie.
Okay,
I'm serious. It's a case study for you. The same thing.
thank you.
Those products require any regulatory approval?
No, they don't. There's no, so the kit is compatible with any type of feminine hygiene product, but we know that women don't want to switch from the products they already use. Tampons, pads, menstrual cups, liners, whatever it is they use, the brands they use is what they want to stay with. And so because our kit, nothing is actually going into the body or it's basic, and the wipes are already using formulas that have been approved. There is nothing else that comes into contact with the body in any way that would require regulatory approval.
So you are selling biodegradable packaging then, is that right?
The interior components, the disposable components are biodegradable, yes.
Another question is, I didn't see any accounts receivable in the balance sheet. You're going to sell everything in cash?
So that is, we are looking at primarily a just-in-time production model. However, we recognize that, so those are annual projections, of course, and we recognize that there will be some lag time, but we certainly,
I'm afraid that time's up. Thank you very much, Animosa from Oregon, USA. Well done. Wow.